Like, I'm not trying to change who she is or make her compromise who she is. I'm loving her where she is and continuing to love her as she journeys on.
I'm Raven.
And I'm Ahmaad.
And we're the Hoods.
What?
Because neither one of us did. I thought you were going to do it. That's why I didn't do it.
Oh.
Welcome to Hood Tales, where we take you through the ups, downs, and merry-go-rounds of millennial marriage. Today we're that just really tickled me. Today we're talking about compromising versus changing, and to really reflect and ask the question: am I compromising myself for this guy? No, not for him specifically, but like, am I compromising myself for you? No, I'm not compromising myself. So it's important to compromise without changing yourself. So there's a difference. Like, change to me is inevitable, especially when it comes down to a relationship. You know, I say it all the time, but life truly never stops happening.
Ever.
So you always are evolving as a person, and with that evolving, your relationship also evolves. People's desires and needs and wants and likes and dislikes also always change. Okay, so you're always gonna be compromising in that sense to accommodate and be with the version of your partner that you are with at that time in you all's lives. Examples of these compromises would really be like just changing an action, let's say because it made your partner feel disrespected, versus compromising yourself, which would be like changing who you are at your core values, the way you look, any of that type of good stuff. What compromises have you made in this relationship?
Compromises that I have made in this relationship. When we first started dating, I'm Captain Save a Hoe, okay? She not no hoe, so don't make me fight. But so whenever Raven would get into a tight, or she'd get into a situation, I said tight, I'm old.
Okay,
but whenever she would get into a tight or a situation, I would come in and try and save the day.
You go eat some chips.
Yeah.
Was that a mess?
Yeah, it stands for spaghetti.
Okay, shut up.
But
spaghetti?
Yeah. I would come in and try and save the day to make everything okay, but I realized that was stunting her growth. Like, she wouldn't, it was like I was keeping the training wheels on for her, essentially. You know, versus her really learning how to ride the bike and grow and handle situations and process and figure it out how she's supposed to. So like, that was a compromise. Really, I'd say one of the only compromises I'd have made. You know, because that's in my nature to swoop in and save the day. Family of Origin, so y'all go back and watch episode 5, because that's what I learned from Family of Origin. Amen. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, you definitely learned that, like, I don't always need you to save me.
No. Nor do you want me to.
Yeah, nor do I want you to. But also, like, 99% of the time, I just want you to be there and be on my side, because I want, you know, I'm trying to figure it out, or like, I want to figure it out on my own, whatever the case may be. I think one of the biggest compromises that I've made would be the phrasing of my words. I talked about this in the communication episode of how to say what you need to say respectfully, a little bit, but I have a very smart mouth, and I always have, and so I realized that the way in which we communicated as friends was not gonna work as romantic partners. And so phrasing went from being like, you don't do this, to like, hey, I need this, so that way I can also get what I want, and you don't feel like I'm attacking you. I think that that's one of the biggest ones for me, that like that is still always an act of compromise. Like, that's not compromising to my core values. That is literally just compromising the way in which I communicate with him, so that way nothing is unhealthy in our relationship. But yeah, that's still an active, sometimes daily, you know, compromise that I am making. Do you have any non-negotiable compromises?
I mean, I think it kind of plays into what you just said. Respect. Like, I'm super big on respect.
You are.
So that's just one thing I won't compromise on in my relationship. Like, that is truly a deal breaker for me. I don't play about my respect because I give it, so I expect it.
Yeah, just relax. I think some of my non-negotiable compromises, you just hit your elbow, didn't you? Why you keep putting your arm back there?
Back here?
No, you keep putting it.
Oh, because I'm like, you know, my arm.
See?
Yeah.
Okay. I think some of my non-negotiable compromises would probably have to be religion. For me is a non-negotiable compromise, because I'm nowhere near like as churchy as like I used to be, in terms of like what that looks like in my life. However, however, having different religions within our marriage is a non-negotiable for me. For me, okay? Y'all do whatever y'all want to do. I'm saying for me. But I think that's one of the only ones. I mean, respect is a non-negotiable for me too, but that's not ever something that you would ever ask me to compromise on. So I don't, which is why I didn't name it. It's weird, right? Compromising versus compromising yourself. I feel like there's a very thin line depending upon who your partner is. Like, you know, like I would never change the way I dressed, these are also non-negotiables for me now that I'm thinking about it. I would never change the way I dressed for you, because you would never ask me to either.
Yeah,
but this is still like non-negotiables. But like, I feel like there are certain things that like whatever makes you an individual, and whatever makes you you, are things that should not ever be compromised in any relationship, whether that be romantic or not. So the way in which I dress, how I look, the type of things I enjoy to do, like, you know, I feel like there are things that make you 100% an individual within your relationship that should never be compromised.
Very true.
And if someone is asking you to compromise those things, they're asking you to change and fit into whatever mold of you that they want to be married to. And that's unrealistic. Because now nobody's happy. Because now they're not getting the true you, and you're also not showing up as your authentic self.
So Dwayne Wade had this interview, well, a piece of this interview, and in the interview he said, "It's not my job to change who she is."
He and Gabrielle, let's be specific, they were in the interview together. We don't do erasure of the wife. It wasn't just him in the interview.
Okay,
I know, but I'm
okay.
You can start with the beginning though.
So Dwayne and Gabrielle Union.
That's her name.
Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union Wade. In this interview that they had, Dwayne said something that I felt was paramount as it pertains to, you know, changing versus compromising. He said that it's not my job to change who she is, but to be a part of her evolution. And so I feel like that's true for myself. So in all that I do, I'm making sure that I'm a part of her evolution. Like, I'm not trying to change who she is or make her compromise who she is. I'm loving her where she is and continuing to love her as she journeys on, and vice versa.
That's good. That's also like very true though. Like, do you have a hood highlight for today's episode?
Change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. So love your partner at the current stage that you have them, and continue to love them as they evolve.
Tissue. I think my hood highlight would be that when you notice something, voice it early and voice it often. Because the longer you go without voicing the need for a compromise, the more it will feel like someone is compromising themselves versus compromising in action. Because things become ingrained and they become set in.
Yes.
So voice it early and voice it often. You know,
that's real good.
You have to, you know, teach people. Like, you know, if you offend somebody once, of course you work your hardest to never do it again. But like, you may slip up, you know? And so you voice it early and you voice it often. Like, if something is a big yellow flag, let's voice it early and voice it often before it becomes a red flag and now you're irritated. Like, you know, it just doesn't put space in for there to be any lack of confusion on where people stand and how they feel about stuff. But that would be my hood highlight.
Okay.
Anything else?
No. Great episode.
Okay. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
I think I'll always tag you in the comments, but Ahmaad's Instagram handle is
@_ the gentleman's groomer.
Yes. And you're watching this on my page.
There you go.
So thanks. Bye.